Okay, let's talk about general parentheses. So you are given an integer n and you are going to return a valid combination. And for example, n equals to 3, right? There are 3 opening and 3 closing, but in different order. It turns out the parentheses is valid, so you do not have like closing first and opening second, so that's not allowed. It has to be a valid. Okay, so the range is from 1 to 8 for the n, and let's just talk about how I did it. So I create a list of string, and if n is less than or equal to 0, I return list. And it's not, I mean, for this case I'm just doing for my own stack, and what I do is I call the helper function and I put my list and a string builder and then the opening and closing count. So for example, like opening count is 3, right? Closing is also 3. So when both are 0, which means it's a valid, right? So I add to the list from the string builder. And if my opening is greater than closing, so I return. Why? Because you need opening first, then closing, right? If you have closing, if opening 3 and closing is 2, right? You need another opening. So that is not allowed, like doing invalid argument. So if opening is greater than 0, and I just append the opening one, and I subtract 1 when I doing the recursion and stuff, and I delete the last character if that is not allowed, right? And same as closing, when closing is still greater than 0, so I append the closing parenthesis and do the backtrack stuff. I'm gonna call the function itself and then subtract 1 by subtract 1 and do the backtrack stuff if that is not allowed. So let's just run it and see about the error. Okay, alright, so I passed the test. So this is how you actually get it. So you only append when opening and closing are both 0, which means that could be possible correct answer. And also you need to know the constraint. If opening is greater than closing, you need to stop at this moment, because you need to know next step is the closing. So you will jump to here if opening, and then because the opening used, right, you need to do the closing first, then you will jump to here again. So that would be my answer. And the time and space complexity, so for the time and space, just look at the solution, because they're just really hard to explain and I still don't understand. So the n, actually the n is the Catalan numbers. So 1 over n plus 1, it means how many chills you have, like 1 over 4, and then you do the combination stuff 2n, from 2n to n, right? What I think is that the length is 2n, because when n equals to 3, right, the output is length of 6, and you are choosing n different combination because they are n different, right? So choose 2n from n, and then it's bounds between 4 to the n divide n square root of n, and it turns out the time and space are the same. And I hope you get it. I don't get it, and if you get it, teach me.